Hi, my name's Harry. I'm part of the Guest Learning and Community Impact team at the zoo. So we sit within the Education Department and we're responsible for everything that we want a visitor to learn and engage with as part of their visit to the zoo and what kind of impact that can have. We know that animals all around the world and our environment is facing a lot of large threats. We believe that every single one of us has the power to make a difference, and we believe that a visit to the zoo can help inspire and educate people to make that change. So we aim to inspire people and showcase the easy and achievable ways that we can all make a difference in our own lives. So what I love most about my job is that no 2 days really look the same. I spend a lot of time researching the animals, learning about them, finding the cool things that I engage with, and then trying to figure out ways that other people can engage with them too. But then also a lot of work involves storytelling, getting out with the keepers and the animals and finding out these stories, learning these stories from them, and then finding new and exciting ways that I can share them and get people really excited about the animals in the same way that I'm excited about them. So koalas are an icon in Australia, but unfortunately they are a threatened species. They're now classed as vulnerable and populations are declining all across their population range. Unfortunately, the biggest threat there is habitat loss. Australia has a very high rate of deforestation, and we're actually the only developed country in the world to have a deforestation front in our borders. So unfortunately that means that koalas and many of our other species are suffering. They're losing habitat, they're losing their trees, the food sources and their homes, and populations are declining as a result. At the zoo though, we know that we have a big chance to make a difference. So Taronga is actively involved in a lot of conservation efforts to restore koala populations and protect their habitats. But for me, the really exciting thing is I get to work with visitors and try to showcase that there are actually things that we can all do to help protect koalas out there in the wild. So choosing FSC on paper and timber products, thinking about where do the paper products we buy come from is a great way of protecting koalas. So that means looking for certified sustainable. FSC is a certification of sustainability for products like tissues and toilet paper or timber, cardboard. So if you look out for the FSC logo when purchasing those kind of products, make sure that the toilet paper you're buying is coming from a deforestation-free source, one that protects wildlife and protects animals like koalas. So at Taronga, we're not just about protecting all the wonderful animals here on land, we also care about the amazing species that we find in our marine environments, our ocean-dwelling species. Unfortunately, our oceans, just like land, are under threat. We might not think about habitat loss in the ocean as a big deal, but there are these big threats of habitat being destroyed, from shipping vessels scraping along the floor, or issues like climate change, and another big one, overfishing of our ocean. So unfortunately, about 90% of all fish stock around the world is already at its maximum level of fishing or being overfished, meaning more fish are being taken out of the ocean for humans every year than they're naturally able to regenerate and recover. So we know that fishing can be sustainable, and we can use it as a great and healthy food source, but unfortunately it's not always being done like that. So at the zoo we promote MSC, so the Marine Stewardship Council is a global certification that seafood you buy has come from a sustainable source that is protecting fish in the oceans. It's catching only certain kinds of fish in the right ways at certain levels, while also minimising bycatch. So it's making sure that it's not catching things like Australian sea lions in the nets. And they're working with ways to keep seabirds and turtles out of those nets, so these other amazing marine creatures continue to thrive in the environment. I love that I get to work with a lot of students when they come to visit the zoo, from the youngest students all the way up through university. We have students coming to study here, to learn, some of them coming just for a day, sometimes they're doing a whole degree here. For me, I think that the zoo is such an amazing place for that. I know for me personally, I was coming here to the zoo when I was a young kid, and those memories have stuck with me. It's inspired me and built my love for animals. And I think what I try to do is really inspire the kids to have that same feeling I do, have that same transformative experience, because the love and the connection that you feel with the animals today can stay with you for the rest of the life. And for me, it's guided me down this pathway, and I hope that I can inspire others to get into a field like conservation or animal science and get excited about our environment and to be a defender. We need more people on the front lines protecting our animals and caring about them in the future. So every time I can share one of those stories, that's a really exciting moment for me. But it's also important to remember not everyone has to work in conservation to be a conservationist. We know that people can, in their day-to-day lives, find all sorts of other different ways. So we really want people going into all sorts of different fields to care about environment and to think about the environment in their own work, in whatever industry they end up with, to make the environment and make animals a priority, so that way they can all make a difference as well.